So, you're looking to do business in Turkey. You've got a million things on your mind, right? Market entry, your product, hiring. But what if I told you the single biggest risk to your whole venture isn't even in your business plan? Today, we're going to dive into something that's absolutely critical, but so often overlooked: financial compliance in Turkey. And, more importantly, the hidden dangers of getting it wrong. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. See, this isn't just about paying taxes on time. It's about all those unforeseen costs that can completely derail a business before it even gets a chance to get off the ground. You can almost think of it like a financial minefield, and you definitely need an expert guide to get you through it.
Okay, so what are these hidden costs we're talking about? It's so easy to think of accounting as just a simple back office chore. But in Turkey, believe me, it is an active, day-to-day risk management discipline. And when it's not handled correctly, the consequences are very, very real and honestly pretty painful.
And look, these aren't just abstract risks. These are things that happen all the time. Just imagine for a second, your company's bank accounts are suddenly frozen. Or you realize you've been paying your whole team incorrectly for months. Or maybe even worse, you find out you missed out on financial incentives that could have saved you thousands and thousands of dollars. This is the reality for way too many businesses.
Now, you might be thinking, hang on, why is it so difficult? I've set up businesses in other countries and it wasn't this much trouble. And you know what? That is a totally fair question. The answer really lies in the unique nature of Turkey's financial and legal framework, which, frankly, is often underestimated by foreign investors.
This is so important to understand. Turkey is not a plug-and-play kind of place. You can't just apply a standard international business model and expect it to work here. The system is incredibly dynamic, with rules that can and do change frequently. And the enforcement, it's strict, especially for foreign-owned companies. The authorities are absolutely paying attention.
This complexity really shows up in several high-risk areas. Each one of these is a potential pitfall. For example, VAT and withholding tax are notoriously complex. E-invoicing has these super specific technical requirements. And, if you're dealing with digital revenues or cross-border payments, the risks just multiply if your structure isn't perfect from day one.
To make this even clearer, let's look at the kind of common and costly mistakes that experts see literally every day. Our insights for this part come from ÖZMEN Consultancy, a firm that's very often brought in to fix these exact problems for foreign companies.
And it's really important to get this distinction. We're not talking about a typical bookkeeping firm that just files some paperwork. The kind of expertise you need here is in strategic advisory specifically for foreign founders and investors. The whole focus is on preventing problems before they start, not just reacting to them. And this right here highlights the huge gap between just passive bookkeeping and active strategic advisory. These are the kinds of issues that often just fly right under the radar of a standard accountant who just files whatever they're given. This kind of passive approach can lead to huge problems like unreported income or completely missed incentives, which in Turkey's system is incredibly dangerous.
Let me be really clear about this. There is no hiding. Sooner or later, the system is literally designed to find these discrepancies. The idea that you can just fly under the radar, it simply does not apply here.
And here's how it all comes to light. It's really not a matter of if, but when. It could be a formal tax audit. It could be a compliance review from your own bank, or an official notice landing on your desk. And the crucial takeaway here, discovery almost always comes with penalties. This is probably the most important lesson of all. The cost of cleaning up a compliance mess, and I mean in both money and stress, is just exponentially higher than getting it right from the very start. It's the classic case of an ounce of prevention being worth a pound of cure, for sure. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, we've talked about the high stakes. Now, let's pivot to the solution. What does a proactive, professional approach actually look like? And how does it completely change the game for businesses in Turkey?
This really tells the story of two totally different approaches. On one side, you have the reactive method, which leads to all the problems we've been talking about. But on the other side, you see a proactive, strategic method. This means assessing risks before they become problems, doing a proper analysis instead of taking shortcuts, and explaining the rules in clear English so you, the business owner, are always in control. So the big takeaway here is that you don't have to operate with all this uncertainty hanging over your head. You absolutely can take control of your compliance, protect your business, and get back to focusing on what you actually do best, growing your company.
And this is a direct message to you. It doesn't matter if you're running a software company, freelancing from Istanbul, or planning a huge market entry. The stakes are exactly the same. Trying to navigate this complex environment without a specialist guide is a gamble that honestly just isn't worth taking.
So, what's the path forward? Well, a really good first step is to seek a professional consultation. Just speaking directly with an advisory team that understands your unique situation can help you review your current setup and maybe even identify risks you didn't even know you had.
This quote just sums it all up perfectly. In Turkey, compliance is completely non-negotiable, but that does not mean it has to be this overwhelming, scary thing. With the right advisor in your corner, this complex challenge becomes a totally manageable part of your business.
Ultimately, if you take one thing away from our discussion today, let it be this. Getting your financial structure right from the very beginning isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely essential for your success here in Turkey.